I served as a cook in the Korean Army. Every morning before sunrise, cold steel trays stacked high, steam rising from huge rice cookers. That was how my day always began. And today, I am telling you about a dish every soldier waits for. Military-style bibimbap. Not just any bibimbap. This one explodes with flavor when butter and gochujang meet. When the rice is ready, metal trays clatter in the line. I grip the rice paddle, scoop steaming rice. A line stretches endlessly in front of me. The smell of boots, mixed with the smell of kimchi. A smell only a military dining hall knows. The first soldier steps up, smiling like he already knows this day will be good. He says, "Butter, please." Generously. I nod, scoop a chunk of butter from the stainless container. It softens the moment it hits the hot rice. That warm, nutty smell rises. And somehow, it gives me strength too. The next soldier sees the gochujang. His eyes light up. "1 spoon, please." "No, a little more." He whispers like it is a secret wish. I try not to laugh. "Add just a touch extra." That red gochujang sits on white rice, shiny, bold, bright like a badge of honor. Then, sesame leaves, carrot stir-fry, spinach namul, a sprinkle of crushed seaweed. Simple ingredients. Nothing fancy, but soldiers do not need fancy. Just honest food with heart. They take their trays and walk away murmuring, "When bibimbap comes out, life gets easier." For that moment, combat uniforms, rifles, orders, all fade away. Just food, warm rice, butter melting, gochujang mixing, and 30 minutes of peace. I stand there watching them eat and think, if this bowl gave someone just a little more strength today. Then I did my duty. Steam kept rising from the rice, and trays kept sliding across the metal counter. But I never rushed this dish. A rushed bibimbap never comforts anyone. One soldier held his tray with both hands, voice quiet, almost shy. "Can you add a bit more spinach?" I always liked how he asked. Polite even when hungry. So I placed a little extra spinach on his tray. He bowed slightly, and I nodded back without a word. In the army, sometimes that silent exchange meant more than anything. By the time the line shrank, butter scent filled the whole hall. Gochujang bowls were half empty, and my gloves were coated in warm rice bits. But my heart felt strangely full. There was a moment I always remember, a foreign Korean adoptee serving as a soldier. He spoke slowly, still learning the language. "Bibimbap Day makes me feel home." He said that home, not Korea, not base, just home. The way he said it, soft, honest, made me stop for 1 second. Then I scooped the steamiest rice I could find, more vegetables, and the perfect amount of sesame oil. He smiled wide, like he finally understood something inside this dining hall warmth. At a corner table, guys were already mixing their bowls. Big metal spoons tapping sides of trays, red sauce spreading through vegetables, a rainbow turning into one deep, comforting color. I watched them take the first bite, heads tilt back slightly, eyes closed for half a second. Relief. Simple and pure. Someone shouted loud, "This is the reason I survive weekdays." Laughter followed. No embarrassment. No teasing. Because everyone understood. In that place, taste was strength. A good meal was courage. Even butter melting on rice felt like a tiny luxury soldier life rarely gave. I wiped my hands, took one deep breath, and prepared another batch of vegetables. Because hunger never waits in the army. But in my mind, I kept thinking, if one bowl can hold warmth, then maybe my job matters more than people think. And that thought carried me through many long mornings. Lunch rush usually ended fast. Soldiers ate like they trained. Quick, focused, no wasted motion. Metal spoons tapping. Short breaths between bites. A few words exchanged, then trays dropped off. Boots marching back to duty. But after the rush, when the dining hall finally quieted, I would stand near the steam table, holding the warm ladle, and look at the scattered grains of rice left behind, the leftover sauce marks, the faint smell of sesame and seaweed lingering in the air. It always felt like traces of a small battle, a battle to stay strong, to stay human inside discipline and orders. Sometimes, someone came back through the kitchen door, helmet still tilted, uniform dusty, voice just above a whisper. "Cook Sergeant, thank you for the meal. It helped today." I would reply simply, "Serve well, eat well." Because in that place, too many words felt heavy. Once, an exhausted platoon came in after field training, mud dried on their sleeves, eyes red from lack of sleep. They sat down slow, not talking, just waiting. When bibimbap trays landed in front of them, their shoulders lowered as if armor fell off. One soldier stirred the rice and sighed, not tired, but relieved. He said softly, "I have not felt warm food this comforting in days. No cheering, No clapping, just quiet nodding. Bites taken slowly, like every taste mattered. And I stood beside the counter thinking, food is not just food here. It is rest. It is air. It is 5 quiet minutes where nobody yells, nobody runs, nobody is tested. Just warmth filling an empty space inside. That was why I cared about butter melting perfectly. Why I placed vegetables evenly. Why I wiped the ladle clean before scooping again. Because soldiers deserved dignity on a tray. Even if the world outside said, it is only the army cafeteria. To me, it was a kitchen protecting hearts, one spoon at a time. And as I cleaned the counters, warm steam brushing my face, I always thought, when these soldiers leave this place, maybe they will remember this bowl. Not just for taste, but for peace. A small piece, but real. I tightened my apron, rolled up my sleeves again, because evening meal was coming. And inside those trays, strength was waiting to be served again. Time passed the same way every day. Rice steam, metal trays, boots echoing against concrete floors, orders shouted in distance, and me, standing with apron tied tight, serving warmth in quiet portions. But seasons changed, and eventually, my service reached its end. The night before discharge, I walked alone in the dark hall, lights dimmed, chairs stacked, dish racks empty, only the smell of rice still faint in the air. I rested both hands on a steel counter, the same surface where thousands of spoons rested. Thousands of meals passed, and I whispered to myself, I did my duty. Not with rifles, not with drills, but with heat, and care, and steady hands. On my last morning, I tied my apron slower than usual, not careful, like I was saying goodbye to a friend. Some soldiers noticed. One asked softly, You leave today? I nodded. He scratched his neck awkwardly, then said, Your food made hard days easier. Thank you. It was simple, but it settled deep in me. Like warm broth on a cold day, I replied. Stay safe. Eat well. That is all that matters. When I stepped outside gates, civilians walked by. Cars moved freely. Nobody shouted orders. Wind felt wider. I carried only one bag, but my heart felt heavier than expected. For a while after, I cooked alone at home. Not loud, not fast, no trays clanking. Just the quiet sound of chopsticks, a single bowl steaming in front of me. And I realized some flavors never leave. Butter melting, gochujang mixing, spinach soft from blanching, a bit of seaweed dust, plain rice turning alive under spoon. Every bite reminded me of tired soldiers, of cold mornings, of silent gratitude crossing metal counters. Years later, I am here in civilian life, living normal days, waking without trumpet calls. Yet whenever I see rice steam rise, whenever I smell sesame oil, my chest warms, like I am back in that kitchen, serving a small piece of peace again. And today, I hold those memories gently, because they are not just military stories. They are human stories, of hunger, of strength, of comfort earned spoon by spoon. So I decided, if this bibimbap gave warmth to soldiers, maybe it can give warmth to anyone, anywhere, even far across oceans. That thought brought me here again, apron in my hands, ingredients on my counter, ready to introduce this humble bowl to people who have never seen a military base, but know what comfort tastes like. Because food travels farther than boots ever could. Even memories follow the steam rising from a bowl. And now, I stand in my own kitchen. Sunlight instead of fluorescent bulbs, wooden cutting board instead of steel counters. Family voices in the next room. Not marching footsteps. I line up ingredients on a clean counter. Not fancy, not expensive. Just true. Rice steaming. Spinach blanched. Carrots sliced thin. Sesame leaves ready. A spoon of sesame oil waiting quietly. And yes, a small block of butter, cold, but softening already, as if it remembers heat. I breathe slow, because even here, far from uniforms and formations, I feel the same calm, the same pride, the same purpose. Simple meal, big meaning. I know some of you watching have never been inside a Korean army base, never heard morning commands, never held a metal tray, or waited in line with tired lungs and sore shoulders. But maybe you have had long days. Maybe someone you love needed comfort. Maybe you needed something warm when life felt heavy. So today, I share this bowl with you, not as a soldier now, but as someone who cooked for people giving their effort, their youth, their strength. Every single day, I scoop rice into a deep metal bowl. Old habit, old affection. Steam rises gently, like a memory lifting to the surface. I place spinach, carrot, sesame leaf, seaweed, each one like a quiet thank you. Then a piece of butter on top, just like the old days. I add 1 spoon of gochujang, red, bold, full of history, and I pause. Because this is the moment I always waited for. Before mixing, before eating, a second to feel grateful that I can share something warm across a screen, across distance, across languages. Now, I mix slowly. Butter melting, gochujang spreading, colors turning deep and rich. It smells like courage and home and mornings where someone kept going because of one bowl. I take one bite, slow, respectful, and I smile because the taste is the same, warm, honest, strong in the quiet way, like someone patting your back without saying a word. I look into the camera and speak softly. This is Korean military bibimbap, but really, it is just food that helped people stand again. If you try it, cook with heart, mix gently, eat slowly, and know this: comfort does not need luxury. Kindness does not need ceremony. Sometimes, a spoon of rice with butter and gochujang is enough to feel human again. Thank you for sitting here with me and sharing this memory across borders, across time. Eat well, rest well. You worked hard today too. 그리고 잘 먹고 힘내요.